Well, welcome back to the late day wrap up, of which I'd like to follow up on a lot of things in the short term Bitcoin timeframes, as there has been quite a few happenings, and of course do a little bit of Dixie and traditional market analysis as well. So with that said, let's get this one out nice and fast here, because this is supposed to be a little bit more of a fast analysis. So with that in mind, let's get on to Dixie right now for the general bias on especially US dollar forex pairs, of which I would be looking at this as still continuation here, still looking like this as a macro reversal, still looking like this to further and further rise up to the heavens. Well, maybe not the heavens, but more importantly, at the very least 93.5 medium term. And based off the monthly close, of which we will be getting in a couple days here, I would essentially be extending these targets significantly to at least 94.5, probably in April, May region. And then very likely I'd even extend that even more long term. We do have what would be considered a higher low on the macro right here. On top of that, we will have hidden bullish evidence very much confirmed between this point and this point. So two major drives. And then on top of that, if we go to our Stokes, of which I know is somewhere over here, which we don't even have up right now. Oh, God damn it. The monthly, well, to put it bluntly, the monthly is crossing the upside. Oh, what do you know? There it is. Whoops, that's a daily, but actually the daily is looking pretty damn good there. Anyways, but yeah, here's your monthly right here, playing out a trend line going all the way back from, I believe, 2003, actually. Yeah, there we go. So I do like this for a macro low at the very least. And anytime that we have seen a macro low on this asset, we have seen at least a year, and typically more than like a few years actually, of rally. We can reference this one over here in February 2018 going all the way to 2020. We can reference this one over here in June 11 going all the way to essentially 2016. We can reference this one over here in 08 to middle of 09. We can reference this one over here in 95 to basically 2002, and then this one over here and over here like a year or two each, and this guy over here about a year as well. So with all of that said, I do look for this rally to continue here, and that's going to put downwards pressure on US dollar pairs, meaning that I'm essentially bullish on the US dollar dominant pair, that is. So with that in mind, I'd be looking for this to kind of happen over the next few months, maybe over the next few years. This is, more or less a slow moving type thing, and we can now move on into traditional markets, of which, or actually, should we look at that first? Let's go to the daily here. Even the daily actually looks like continuation for right now. Daily RSI telling this story back in the bullish control zone after a little bit of a stint on that test of what I would say is the edge of the bullish control zone. Yeah, this looks pretty fucking good. Not the most constructive read of all time, but overall, at least I favor it for now. On the daily, your 377 is going to be a natural sort of long-term target for the daily specifically. Anyways, moving on to traditional markets, let's go see. Let's start off with Dow Jones, the more aggressive of the big three. We were bullish on this one on this morning's video after looking for a short-term pullback somewhere down to the 10 simple. It looks like we've actually gotten that pretty much already. A little bit of a front ran right there, but that's okay. The general bullish bias does essentially continue on the weekly on last week's closure. I would be looking for new all-time highs very likely this week and probably into April as well, as the monthly is looking incredibly girthy. Momentum remained to the upside, even breaking this short-term downtrend, well, short-term on a monthly, but more importantly, this is going to, likely lead into a breakout to new all-time highs and keep it, more or less fine for the next few months. Same thing on monthly RSI right here, hidden bullish evidence the whole way through, back in the bullish control zone. I really like this for right now. I know that this market looks crazy. I know that this shit is really fucking extended long term, but do I think that there's more at least in the next few months? Yes, I do actually. Short term time frames, actually continuation here as well. So I guess I'm bullish on all time frames. What are the next sort of areas of interest to the upside though? You might be asking, or I might be asking myself. Let's see if I already have it in here. Okay, this is actually an easy one. So we do have a nice little base coming out of this area right here. Let's take a nice little extension right here. Short term, 33, just above 33,000 bucks, 33,100 actually is where I'd be looking towards. And then more long term, I'd have keen eyes on about the 33,750-ish region, also in line with the 2.618 from this major base, like way the fuck down here in this whole accumulation phase. So looking good on that one. Anyways, moving on to SPY, pretty much the same thing. Short term pullback from this morning's video. Oh, what do you fucking know? Pull back to the 10 simple and rally off there. Nice higher low structure. Weekly closed on an up note at the end of or last Friday. It's looking good. I'd be looking for new all-time highs on this one as well. Quite literally already closed on a weekly new all-time high. Monthly looks just as girthy and just as impressive here too, and this one is actually even I would even say better than Dow Jones. Very constructive read on monthly RSI right here. I'd be looking for this one to continue the rally over the next few months. Again, I know it looks fucking crazy. I mean, and this is your real chart right here too. This is linear scale, but I do think that there actually is more. If we were to make some areas of interest to the upside on a breakout above our current high, of which we pretty much already have, and it looks like I already have done this as well. Let's just move this back a bit. Something like this is what I'd be looking at. I would be having a short-term area of interest right above $4,000 and more long-term about 42, a little bit above $4,200. So looking good right there as well. I really have no real reason to be bearish on this as long as it's holding the last daily higher low at about $3,900. Nice little basing point, and as long as it's above there, I am bullish pretty much on all time frames actually. Moving on to NASDAQ, the one that's probably most relevant for especially people looking at Bitcoin out there. You can see that's certainly a laggard right now. However, I would be looking for it to join the rest of the market really. Yes, this is a little more concerning in the short-term time frames. If I was just looking at NASDAQ, I'd be saying, this actually looks kind of shitty. I'd probably be looking for some downside, but you can't just analyze one indice on its own. You have to analyze kind of all of them in confluence with each other. And in this case, I imagine we're just going to see a rotational market where NASDAQ essentially gets rotated last. Not the best sign for the long term, to be honest with you, but at the very least, I probably would be looking for this one to continue onwards and upwards. Any sort of a closure above basically, especially $13,000 on the monthly would be very likely continuation into at the very least April. Short-term time frames, if we go down to a 4-hour, again, not the picture of health and fitness, but if you are going to trade, I guess just structure here pretty easy in this sense. 12,700 to the downside is going to be that area of interest for right now. I mean, shit, you could even probably move that up to this little area right here. Let me get rid of some of these. It's like way too convoluted right now. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Move that one like right there. And that's going to be about 12.8. So I guess I'd be cautiously bullish as long as you're above there. Just again, mostly based off of the rest of the markets. 200 simple are going to be getting the highs essentially on this area as well. So I'd be looking at that as a bit of a breakout point and probably targeting moves back up, around the prior highs, especially like 13.5, 13.6 on a breakout play there. So this one definitely a laggard here, but I do figure that it's probably going to pull through with the rest of them. I mean, the weekly is essentially just getting reaccumulated on the 21 exponential average, and that is one of my long-term rules to not necessarily get bearish on until it actually does officially break it. And to be fair here too, I mean, we still quite literally have an uptrend. So if that's in a base here, I mean, areas of interest to the upside are going to be, I think it was like 14,000, 14.3 at the 3 spot, and then 15,000 is a really big one, like super big one. So I'd be very, 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 very careful if it actually does hit up around there in the next few months. But heading into the month of April, I suspect that this is going to be more or less good. Here's your monthly for right now. It's looking okay. Anyways, moving on to Goldie. Where's my Goldies? 1707 actually spitting out the bounce here. This is not good, actually, especially coming into the end of this month. So I was actually looking for a bounce to, I was looking for this bounce to actually carry onwards and upwards a little bit more. Looks like I'm going to be wrong on that one. And this one going to be coming back down and very likely testing the lows, which is actually right around the Cyan 89 exponential average right here on the weekly. Should I be looking for another bounce off this level? I mean, this does not look good, man. It really doesn't look fucking good here. If I guess by taking out that last structural low at about 1720 or 1725, kind of, I guess I have to go with my own rules and be bearish on this one, but I don't feel too confident on this, to be honest with you. I still would not be surprised to see it bounce up a little, or at least try another bounce in April, maybe to like the upper 1700s, but I mean, that one barely even getting to fucking 1760. Well, I mean, we did get pretty fucking close there. Could you argue that that target was met? No, I don't think so. This looks pretty bad. This looks pretty fucking bad. Yeah, shitty as fuck. Shitty as fuck. Let's go check out some Bitcoin action. So this morning Bitcoin, I was certainly wrong in the short-term timeframes, but that is why I do have a focus, and why I hopefully am very, very clear in stating that, well, short-term I'm not too I'm not too confident on, to be honest with you, especially coming into Monday. Medium and high-term timeframes taking over, obviously, and that was precipitating the Visa news, right? The good old Visa news. And so this morning, I was looking for a little bit of a pullback here. Did see a little bit of bearish divergence on the 4-hour RSI. The key component of this was essentially that CME was not showing an actionable step like that as well, or at the very least, well, actually it did, but the problem is that we didn't even come back down and fill the gap at about 54.5, which is kind of what I was looking for. So fair enough, going to be wrong on that one, but that's okay. Well, maybe not okay. There's definitely gonna be some comments like, fuck you, Crown die, Crown hang yourself. But fair enough, at the end of the day, the medium and higher term timeframes never really switched around. So hopefully I was most clear with that, and in the confidence on those scales as well. Obviously, this is playing out both 12-hour, daily, and 2-day. Let's actually just show this right now. We're showing, hey, come on, show it. There we go. 12-hour hidden bullish divergence. We got daily hidden bullish divergence. We got 2-day hidden bullish divergence. We got 3-day hidden bullish divergence, all with 3 or more drives, by the way, I should say as well. So with that in mind, and also a confirmed reversal on the 4 hours, Bitcoin did take out, more importantly, the 56,500-ish level right here, basically this nice little higher high structure on our short-term timeframes. Now all timeframes in an uptrend once again, basically, or at least all timeframes that I kind of care about. And we technically do have a measure move on this inverted head and shoulders here, which would be pointed up basically towards our current all-time high, actually at about 62,000 bucks. Now, do I think that things are going to go there like today as I search for my little shoe that keeps my feet comfortable? Fuck, get it back on my foot. There we go. Probably not, no. I think that it kind of just generally floats up over there, you know, over the next, I don't know, I'm going to say like next week or two, and then it's going to fucking happen today, some shit like that. But overall, you know, I'm generally just kind of angled to the upside here. Of course, we do see that if we go back to our momentum charts over here, this is going to be accompanied by a daily bullish signal on the ADX DMI. The DMI Plus is just barely dominant. Also, CME is a little more obvious here too. DMI Plus is quite literally dominant, and ADX is strengthening as well. Going to be technically a good signal. Plus, histogram bullish divergence, or hidden bullish divergence here, as we do make slightly lower low on that histogram alongside a higher low on price action above a 20 simple, which does have a positive slope, also breaking the short-term time frame trend above 56,500. So all that aligned with each other does play into the narrative long term that Bitcoin probably gets another continuation phase here. And I'm looking at this as more or less an ascending triangle. Volume signature on this is rather mature, suggesting a breakout probably this week, actually. Yeah, probably this week. That's where it gets about 75% full. So yeah, I think this is rather soon. In fact, if you're looking at CME is already testing the top side of this resistance, and that does have a measure move pretty much all the way up to the 3.618, just below 70,000 bucks. So technically, that would be my breakout target on this ascending triangle, essentially a bullish reaccumulation formation. Of course, I should always offer up conditions on the other side that would essentially undo my inherent bullishness here. Obviously, on the daily, it's quite easy, and this is really what I'd be using myself. Here's your last higher low, 51,500. As long as Bitcoin's above there, I am just going to be generally bullish on the higher term timeframes. I have no real reason to be bearish on them. On the short term timeframes, however, we're using a 4 hour. What would I be using? Well, I'd probably be using this last sort of higher low that Bitcoin put in right around 55,200-ish region right here. As long as Bitcoin's above there, don't really have any real threat of like a even medium term time frame reversal. Only going to be operating on the short term, which, to be fair, I mean, this is, you know, rather big range. But if it does break below there, I'd probably be looking at another run towards the lows at like 52,000 bucks, give or take a few bucks. But ultimately, I do like where things kind of are right now. Momentum oscillators do support this as well. 4 hour RSI back in the bullish control zone for the first time since literally 15th of March. And we do see 4 hour TSI leading the party here as well, actually having a bullish cross above the zero read. This was early yesterday. So that should have been a bit of a bias there as well, which actually missed. So bad on me, shame on me. But at the end of the day, man, I'm not perfect. And so short-term timeframes, yeah, very much wrong on that. But higher term timeframes, I do feel good about in this case, and I'm essentially just looking to fall through here. To go over to this chart, do we see anything on momentum oscillators? Even the 4 hour ADX DMI is actually just having a fresh signal right here, or just about a fresh signal, I should say. So ultimately, generally speaking, I'm be looking for continuation. Technically speaking, Bitcoin's already trending above the topside shoulder band on a 4 hour. I'd like to see one more closure above to continue this, but yeah, I mean, I guess continuation is the name of the game here, man. I'd be watching CME chart and have those areas of interest in mind. And I'm happy to be bullish as long as Bitcoin's above like 55. Let's just call it 55.5. It's easier to say. All right, cool. I am going to be signing off now. This video is 13 minutes long, maybe 13 minutes. Yeah, probably a little bit too long, but that's okay. Anyways, I want to salute you. I'll see you soon. I'll be back on live tomorrow. Take care, and until next time.